Hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
April 20th, Chicago, Stand Mansion, Power Week. I'll be there and show you. Yeah, that's it, baby. Hey guys, my name is Wally Green from New York City. We have an amazing event at the Stand Mansion in Chicago. It is called The Power of We, run by my man, my boy, Mr. Lauren Harris. You guys better be there, because I will too, and I hope to see you guys soon. Peace!
The Power of We was a way of inclusion, a way of inviting anyone who needed or wanted a place to belong.
It was just very clear to me that this was something that would really benefit the young folks right here.
And to be able to give them a different perspective, that I know where they come from, I know what they're experiencing because I was there too, and letting them know that there's different actions that they can take that'll lead to a different destiny.
We really needed to hear that. In order to change our community, we needed to hear that.
And they are inspired to invest in making it happen. That's powerful.
Hello, my name is Dom Fawcett. I want you to join Lauren, myself, Todd, Jason, Danny, and so many other speakers at the Power of We Symposium, April 28th in Chicago.
my goodness. Just now, you won't believe what happened. I was all up inside that theme song today, you know. I was like, that's my jam. And then I saw myself back like in my 20s when I really thought I had rhythm and could dance, and no one told me that I couldn't. Just be glad you weren't there. That's all I'm going to say. But there's a reason the nieces and nephews in this guy's family call me Uncle Carlton. But because I can do that thing that Carlton used to do from the Fresh Prince. You know what I'm saying? That not unusual. I'm good at that one. It's just that choreographed stuff. And you know, black families, they always got to get out there. I hate that at our family reunions. That's just electric slide. I'm like, why? Because I never go the right direction. I need help. I need some can help teach me how to dance. Raise your hand. Drop it in the comments. Welcome you all. Yes, there are black men who don't have all the rhythm they should have been blessed with. I'm going to just say that. I'm not saying I'm one of them. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. And no, I have absolutely no idea where all that came from. So anyway, you'll see. Wait till you get 60. I'm not there yet. A couple more months, but I'm prepping myself because it's going to be a dark day. I'm just kidding. A day above ground for all of us is a great day, right? Just like being here. Why is it so important that we do this every morning, Monday through Friday? I'll tell you why. Because we fulfill that promise. You hear me say it every day. And I am so grateful for it. Where we come together and fulfill the promise that if two of us, at least two of us comes together and we have the same mindset, heart set, soul set, wonderful things will happen. And they do. You know, I want you guys to understand what we do in here is everything we say, we mean it. Why? Because the moment we mean something, it instantly becomes meaningful somewhere inside this universe. Can I get an amen? Right? So anyway, updates on the Power We. We're getting there slowly but surely. You guys, I love you so much. 300 kids now. Remember when it was 250? And then now I've added another. Somebody called and they had 50 young men that they wanted to bring. Couldn't say no. So I've got about another $8,000 on top of the 6 that I had remaining. But remember, it started at like 70 some 4 months ago, and we're down to, well, I think right around 14,000. And you know what? I never worry about this sort of thing. Why? Because I believe in the law of attraction. I believe in karma. I believe we reap what we sow. I believe we can be blessed in the manner in which we choose to bless others. And that's why it's the power of we. Because I know if it was just the power of me, I probably wouldn't have raised a quarter. I'm just saying. Who? Right. I'm just saying, you just feel so much better about anything you do when you do it with a mind of what's that word? Y'all know I got I downed it. Used to be a 6-syllable limit on this show. I'm thinking of changing it to 5. I can't get 6 out anymore. Manifestation. Okay, yes, I can. Manifestation. So I believe in manifestation, and that means that I need your help. Send some love, some light. Pray for it. We're here to save the lives and encourage the lives and to heal some lives with these kids. They are our future, and you know what? They deserve us doing something outside of just what we do for ourselves. Why? Because they are, of course, inheriting all those great things that we are going to leave for them, but they're going to inherit those things that aren't so good. Let's put it that way. So we want to do what our ancestors did for us. That's it for today for the Power We. I just want you guys to know we still need you. So anyone that you know that has a heart for kids and just giving them a chance, send them our way if you would. Power We Symposium, April 28th, here in Chicago at the beautiful Stan Mansion. So, Sherry McQueen, I know you're here. Thanks, everyone, for showing up today. I have a wonderful guest. You know how I'll go out there sometimes. Like, I wonder who's coming out. I'm going to find me some guests. I get them from everywhere. But then there's those ones. You've heard me mention it before. Those ones where I was just minding my own business, and then something went. I feel like that lady on Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Remember, she'd be like, hello, gumshoes. Remember her? Her eyeball would fill the whole screen. She scared the crap out of me back then. But anyway, I look close, and I'm like, I wonder what it is about that guy or that lady or whatever the case may be. And I follow up on it, and that's what happened. But he reached out first. He saw a guest that we had a few weeks back, and he commented. And it was just something the way he said it. It was just, you could tell it was just authentic. He really meant it, and he meant what he said about her. I said, that is a nice guy. So I invited him on the show. Didn't know what we were going to talk about, right? But it came this morning, and I thought we'd start with this. And when this is over, I'm going to bring him right in. Now, name, Mark. I can get that part. Now, here it is. Lukes. What do you guys think it is? Is it Lucas, like George Lucas, but spelled differently? Or is it Luke's? I'm going with Luke's, but I bet he gets Lucas all the time. That's what I'm putting in. What are you guessing? Put it in the comments. That's the bell of purpose, just to get out of the way in case it's the first time you've been here. It's not a gimmick. It's not some little bit. What it is an opportunity. It's a reminder when you hear the bell ring. It's telling you, it's reminding us that just like this bell, the truth has a ring to it. Make sure you're still frequency coordinated. You don't want to just listen to any old thing. Is that just weak or truth? Well, that's when you start bending the truth or start believing there's such a thing as little white lies. If it ain't the truth, it ain't the truth. It's a version. So anyway, he's here, Mark, and I'm going to just bring him in. But we're going to, Mark, remember I told you that countdown thing? I'm going to forego that. And I'm going to share the screen and bring you in while we're watching this clip by remember Maya Angelou? Oh, she was I just love her. I still love her. So anyway, here's a little something she says about three secrets to living your best life. I watched it this morning. It's wonderful. Come on in, Mark.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're going to watch this little clip real quick about living your best life, because after talking with you, I said, this guy has
maybe the hardest part is if you teach, you have to live your teaching. You can't say you do not as I do, but do as I say. No. You have to say, I'm doing my best to live what I teach. I have a painting by Phoebe of a group that she calls Sister Suki's Funeral. And all the women, there are about 9 women, and they all look like women in my grandmother's prayer meeting group. So whenever I'm obliged to do something, I take that painting and I look at that painting. There's an empty chair. And I think, now, what would Grandma do? What would she say? I can almost hear her voice say, now, sister, you know what's right. Just do right. You don't really have to ask anybody. The truth is, right may not be expedient. It may not be profitable, but it will satisfy your soul. It brings you the kind of protection that bodyguards can't give you.
Ooh, okay.
Try to be all you can be, to be the best human being you can be. Try to be that in your church, in your temple. Try to be that in your classroom. Do it because it is right to do. You see, people will know you, and they will add their prayers to your life. They'll wish you well. I think if your name is mentioned and people say, oh, hell, oh, damn, I think you're doing something wrong. But if your name is mentioned and people say, oh, she's so sweet, he's so nice, oh, God bless her.
See, I said that about you.
So try to live your life in a way that you will not regret years of useless virtue and inertia and timidity. Take up the battle. Take it up. It's yours. This is your life. This is your world. I'll be leaving it long before you under the ordinary set of circumstances. You make your own choices. You can decide life isn't worth living. And that would be the worst thing you can do. How do you know? So far. Try it. See. So pick it up. Pick up the battle and make it a better world. Just where you are.
Yes.
Yes. And it can be better, and it must be better. But it is up to us.
Oh, That's what happens when we watch This Is Us. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. My husband and I, when we watch This Is Us, we just go, ah! Oh, I love stuff that makes me feel just like that. You know what I'm saying, Mark? Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Welcome, Mark.
Thank you.
Mark.
I appreciate it. Oh,
Mark.
Lucas.
Oh, man. I had it right. See, follow your first mind. Mark Lucas. So people say Luke's trying to figure it. Like, I just thought I was going to get it wrong.
If I spell it, they'll say Luke's, and if I say it, they'll spell it something like George Lucas.
Like George Lucas.
Yeah,
Lucas.
Yeah, the family story is not that interesting. It was a simple typographical error when my great grandfather came to America. Great grandfather, I guess it was. There was a simple typographical error, and he went, "All right," and that was it. That was supposed
to be.
The original spelling, the original family spelling is from Bohemia, which is a country that doesn't even exist anymore. But it was Lukas, and
it doesn't exist anymore.
Bohemia doesn't exist as a country.
Why they changed the name?
No, in a roundabout way. It got phased into Germany after World War I.
Was it like what's happening in Ukraine? Somebody came over and said,
"Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's a weird." Yeah, geographical politics back in the days were a little strange. So yeah.
Well, isn't that something though? Because it just like tries to erase all that history that happened when it was that name.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the artist formerly known as Prince is one thing, but my goodness. Speaking of, here's another thing you and I were saying this morning in the green room. You guys quit playing. Answer it. I don't know. Tell me if you do. Don't you remember when they used to call the place Kiev?
Yeah, Kiev.
And now it's, what is it?
Kiev. I don't know. I grew up, I mean, look, I'm, not quite as old as you, but I'm older than a lot of people that are probably watching this. And I remember Kiev almost all through the 80s and, all that.
I don't remember telling you how old I was.
Well, no, you said it on the opening intro. So
okay, just check it. I listen. I'll cry on you in a minute, Mark. You might know that moment. Will I not, y'all? This is here for a reason. So anyway, hey, tell everybody. I know you. Are you still in Sarasota?
I am.
That
down in Sarasota, Florida.
Name alone sounds like the place to be.
Oh, it is. It is absolute heaven. My wife and I moved here. We lived out west. I grew up in the west part of the U.S. and then moved here in 2019, and I found home. I will never leave Florida, never leave Sarasota. It's an absolutely spectacular city, full of filled with sun and fun on the beach. But then my wife's an artist. I mean, she's a piano player, so she gets that cultural side, and it's just a fantastic town. I recommend anybody and everybody come visit us. It's very welcoming and inviting and warm and wonderful. And so
Did you just say come visit you? You can't
no.
Because we'll all be there by Friday.
Not me personally, just the city at large.
Nice changing it, y'all. Okay, I see how it is. But listen, let's talk about. Okay, you saw the clip with Maya Angelou, and and I'm serious. You know something about what we're talking about there. I'll tell you how I know. I did a little research. I know you're in Sarasota. I know you're the owner of Silent Marketing Solution, and you have been for 10 years. But then for 18 years, 18 and a half, really, 18 years and 6 months, you worked as a managing director for another marketing group in Utah. So that's a long stretch. I remember back in the day when I was a kid, people would retire after 20 years. That was like the magic number, remember? So that's almost an entire lifetime, they would say, that you worked somewhere. What can you say about, Mark, that transition from, because when I'm of the mindset, why I couldn't work for other people very long before was because I just, first of all, my cup runneth over, but I was like, is that all that's in there? So I wanted to pour right into the manifesting of my dreams and not continually poured into the building of someone else's, but not from a selfish place, just from a creative need. So kind of talk about how you got to the place and the courage to walk away from something of 18 and some years just to strike out on your own.
Well, so I guess the short version of an incredibly long story goes like this. I was fortunate in the sense that the company I was working with or for, essentially the owner owned it, but then I ran the entire thing. It was almost as if I was building the company because the owner was virtually never there. So I got the advantages of learning how to work with the employees and work with the customers and hire and fire, as lousy as that can sometimes be, and all of the little nuances. So I virtually got to start a company and run it for almost 2 decades, and didn't really have a lot of interference. I kind of got the best of all worlds, type of a thing, and I loved it. We've said earlier, I love building companies. I love building things. It's been my true passion in life since I was 19 years old, just in college, I've been building entities and groups, and I've consulted with other companies and helped them build and figure out ways to get to that next level, et cetera, et cetera. I just love it. It's what I do. I love getting up in the morning and building something. And in this case, for the last 12 years, it's been my own company. And I've loved every second of it. Not to say that there aren't difficulties, as we all realize, but
like those nights when you wake up like this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh
wait, that was last night. Oh, wait, and the night
yeah,
before?
yeah, that was last night. That was 2 nights ago. Yeah.
But here's what I always say, and you can chime in and tell me how, if it resonates in your journey or not. But what I love about the work I do is, how do I know I'm working within my divine purpose? I always tell people it's because everything about it has more attached to it. I want to help more people. I have more headaches, more sleepless nights, but I find that I have a broader capacity, so I can have more joy. I can be joyful more for others. It's just, it touches everything.
Yeah.
And it includes everything. It tries to include as much as possible, but it also is just so free. I don't have to decide what she was saying there. What's right. And that's one of the things. And some people, Mark, we listen to, especially in this day and age, it's really flipped since COVID. The whole everything, really, the new normal is why they threw that out there right in front. What? Yeah, they knew. So why do you think it is so many people are willing to trade that freedom to be creative, that freedom to stretch, that freedom to challenge things that need to be challenged? That's the only way rules get, rules have to be challenged before they can be broken.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's
absolutely.
That's why we have movements and things.
Right.
So talk about, you had the 18 years with all those people. How many people were like in that company, by the way, just so we get a visual?
We had 20 something, 20. Oh man, it's been a long. Man, that was 5,000 gin and tonics ago. Yeah, we had 25. I think 24. I think at the absolute peak. Yeah, so it wasn't a huge company, but
Well, that's just the 25 that came into work. But like you and I were talking that day when we first got that virtual coffee, I just knew you were the kind of guy, and I think I asked you. I said it was like a family type thing, huh? You knew the wives, and the wives knew each other, and you knew the kids. And you said, "Yeah, I've been to their weddings and things like that." So let's talk about business and the relationships within business. How different, if at all, is your mindset on that today with your own culture within your own business, as compared to the 18 years with the other? If there's any difference.
There's not a ton of difference. I mean, look, basically I'm a very, what would we say? A very friendly, people-oriented person. I enjoy being around people. COVID was, for somebody like me, that was even worse because I couldn't travel and even see my customers or something along those lines. I hated that. I mean, Zoom and video conferencing is fine, but in the end, I prefer to be face-to-face with people. I enjoy that. So that aspect maybe hasn't changed as much, but what's different is, lost an earphone. What's different now is the fact that I really do get the opportunity to get to know all of my people so much more intimately. Again, I've been to weddings, I've been to, graduations, I've been everywhere and everything. And it's so much more interesting to be part of their lives on a more, intimate level. And again, you hire, you got to get rid of a few, and that's the lousy aspect of being a business owner. But sometimes it just doesn't work, and you have to acknowledge that. I've had employees come back a year later and go, "It was the worst day of my life. The day you sat with me, and I knew I wasn't going to be a part of this company, but I learned so much that I took that away, and actually have been better for it."
Well, that's nice to hear, huh?
Yeah. And so, look, I particularly because on the one aspect of my company, I have younger kids. Let's say, they're typically going to be out of high school, early college, or something along those lines. They're still growing. They're still trying to figure out who they are. And if I can encourage them to do something different with their life that maybe they didn't even see, or give them some little point of reference or a piece of information that helps them years after they've long since left my life. What else would be better than that, than to know that these kids are going to have a better life by simply have been around my little group and me personally, whatever. But that family unit that taught them something, that's the best thing you can do as a business owner, is just encourage.
What kind of childhood did you have, Mark? Was it the Wonder Years kind of childhood?
Oh,
was it
no
trauma and all the stuff that people some people that call it, what do they say? Did you have a silver spoon in your mouth? They always assume that people who are happy and successful had it easy. A lot of people think that, when really, in reality, oftentimes it's quite the opposite. So what was it like?
As a matter of fact, my childhood, on the one hand, we were typical middle class. I mean, my father was and probably still is a hard worker, and et cetera, et cetera. My mother was the same. She was more of a stay-at-home mom, not all through my life, but a lot of it. But no, my what would we say? My childhood upbringing was not fun. My father, who I have not spoken to in many, many, many years for my own benefit, had some mental issues derived from his own past traumas.
Yeah.
And that was not fun. And it took me a lot of years, actually, with the help of my wife, to sort of, work my way through all that. A lot of years of self-exploration, a lot of years of just trying to put those pieces into place and incorporate them in my life in a more positive way.
Right.
I guess would be the best way to say it.
Right. The understanding of the why.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Look, when you boil it away, fine. My dad was an ass. Okay, fine. And, he hit me. Okay, fine. And not like, even by 70s standards, it would have been not good. But that was the lousy.
Really, you're talking, let's call a spade a spade. He beat you.
Yeah. And so, right. So I had one of two choices. I could live in that world forever until the day I died, or I could do something with it and turn it around and make it positive for myself, and inevitably make it positive for the people around me. I chose the latter. I could have chose the former, probably fairly easy. A lot of people fall into that trap, and it's an easy trap to fall into, but that just isn't me. I can't wallow in that forever.
Right. But I know this is a key. This is a linchpin to what we originally were speaking on, and that's that joy, that happiness, that freedom that comes with why you just love people so much. And because some people hold that stuff that doesn't serve them.
Sure.
The things, the PTSD and the trauma that as a result. That's one of the examples, like the one you just mentioned with your own dad. So, but so let's talk about this. This is what we don't hear a lot about. I love this part. Is like, because I know it happens with me. You know how, like, you're minding your own business, you're moving along, no matter what your life is really like or what people perceive it to be, you have those succinct moments when you're remembered to that. You see it go through your mind, but you see it for more than what you felt or thought, as you healed or didn't heal on the inside or whatever. Isn't it amazing how you get sent back to see glimpses of it to help explain what to do with it?
Right.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes 100% sense, and I agree completely. I mean, taking those moments and putting them into some sort of context, and then utilizing those tools to better yourself and better, again, the people around you. That's what we all have to kind of strive for. I mean, we're all going to face crap in our own way. Doesn't matter whether it's your father, your mother, or some external force altogether. We all are going to face something. So what do you do with it?
Right.
And in my opinion, the best thing you can do is take it and learn from it and incorporate it, and then move past it to the degree that you can, and then, help people, because you never know. It's a great thing. It is so much of a relief when you can sort of let go of some of that stuff
Yes.
and then utilize it to help other people. I mean, that's a big thrill, to be able to do stuff like that. So anyway, my little sob story for the
I
day.
heard somebody say it's a big thrill. And that's awesome stuff. That's the power of we there. Yeah. Because being covered up by my name. Listen, we're gonna take just a short break here. And when we come back, I want you to tell everybody about that company on your shirt right there.
Absolutely.
And what role it plays in your journey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and more. You guys get your questions, your comments ready. We'll be back with more of this illuminated conversation with Mark Lucas in just a moment. Don't you dare go away. Do me a favor. Share the broadcast out. You'll be blessed. I promise. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harrison. Before we get the great Mark Lucas back in here, just a little reminder, sometimes small changes can create huge shifts in our lives. In order to pick up something that is going to serve you better, sometimes we have to let go of those things that aren't. And in the last year, for me, it was getting rid of the Diet Coke, the Monster drinks, that sort of thing. And I replaced it with this V8. I love it because it's 60 calories in every can, and that's not much. It's 100% pure vegetable juice from concentrate, and it's 2 full servings, count them, 1, 2, of vegetables. So as we get older, as we grow, we have to be proactive and preemptive. So make some choice. I don't care if it's this one, but do something today to take your life from great to greater, bright to brighter, and your spirit from strong to stronger. I can do it just through this. Just start somewhere. It's the little things that make big differences. Easy to find. Just head down the juice aisle at your local grocer. Tell them Lauren sent you. No, seriously. Tell them I sent you. Okay. Hi, Mark. Welcome back.
How are you?
So tell us about SMS. What does it do? And then I want to get to something else that I know you create, because I think there might be wanting some of that.
There probably is. So Silent Marketing Solution is a closing gift program for the real estate industry. Essentially what the closing gift, what would you say? The closing gift motto had always been something like a basket of fruit or a bottle of wine or something. And it's something that real estate agents gave their homeowners when the house was sold. And that's great. But it didn't really provide a long-term solution to being able to stay in touch with your clients. How fast can you drink a bottle of wine and then you throw the bottle away? My wife and I could probably do it in the night, which maybe says a little too much about us. But our program was designed and developed from the ground level up to give the real estate agent the ability to stay with their customer for years and be able to stay in contact with them for years. And it starts off with a membership to the sister company called the Shopping Company, which is an e-commerce website. It's members only, so it's very heavily discounted. And that membership lasts for a year at minimum. And then there's typically a gift card. So the homeowner gets to go pick their own perfect closing gift. We've got 38,000 products. If they want to go buy a chair, if they want to go buy something for their kid or something for their dog or something for, maybe jewelry or something like that, let them pick what they want. Every time that homeowner customer logs into the Shopping Company website, the entire site rebrands itself. It's a white label e-commerce platform back to the agent So the agent's name and picture and contact information all come up and all the colors change. It's pretty cool. And so this will happen for most of our homeowner customers will come on the site 3-4 times a month. They'll buy something maybe every 6-7 weeks, something along those lines. But it's an important way for those two people to stay in contact for years on end. So to boil that all away, what's called retention rate in the homeowner, in the real estate space over the last 3 or 4 decades has been roughly 14%. So the retention rate, so 14 out of every 100 customers will return and use that same real estate agent again. With our program, the retention rate's around 67%.
Wow.
So 67 times out of 100. And a lot of it is just being able to keep those two people talking. I mean, there have been a bazillion studies about this, and what everybody comes back and says the same thing. Homeowners and their agents just lose track of each other. And that's not an unreasonable thing. I mean, it's going to be 6 or 7 or 8 years before they're maybe ready to buy another house or add another house or whatever. We bridge that gap. Here's how you can stay in touch with each other in a very non-intrusive way. So the homeowner gets something out of it. The real estate agent gets something out of it. It's very affordable. And yeah, it just works beautifully. So we've really turned the real estate industry on its head and given it a new outlet for those agents to stay in touch with their customers in the long term.
So are there a lot of companies that do what yours does, or did you kind of start this? Is this a niche?
Yeah, it's a complete niche product. I mean, there are other closing gift companies out there, clearly. I mean, but again, most of those are going to be something like, hey, have a branded, basket of chocolates or something like that, or have there's maybe a laser engraved knife or something along those lines. It's like a lot of times those just get lost into the wayside, and there's no real incentive for the homeowner to come back. It's like, okay, great, you gave me a cake knife. Sweet. Now what do I do with it? Well, they typically get thrown in the bottom of a drawer, and they're kind of left there forever until the homeowner moves. And by that time, they probably already picked a new agent or something. So our program is just entirely different. It encourages the homeowners to want to shop, right? We've sort of embraced that shopping profile. Everybody loves to do that, right? Yes. And we've given them really heavily discounted pricing. So they want to come back and use the shopping company. When I say heavily discounted, 30, 40, 50% is not uncommon. And we've got things from iPhone cases all the way to beds, big ticket items, stuff like that. So it's just a great way. Everybody wins. It's been an absolute transformational product for the real estate industry. We've been around now for 10, 12, 13 years, I guess now, something like that. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
And you make great relationships, and you help people to maintain great relationships. I say exactly at least once or twice a day. And really, I really do. One of the things I love most about this work is on a daily basis, I get to introduce people I love to other people I love. And in situations and things. And speaking of, do you mind, can I have a couple minutes of your interview? Because, he's coming. So
of course.
The kids come first. I can't stop. But I wanted to share with you guys, I found another really great clip. We're not going to watch the whole thing, just a couple minutes of it. All the kids, all 300 of them, I added 50 the other day. I think I told you guys today. So pray for me, please. And so these 30 kids, the Grammy Award winning Soul Children's Choir of Chicago, headed up by the wonderful Dr. Walt Whitman. This is the choir's 40th anniversary year. And we are just so thrilled to have them along the road of purpose, just bringing and pouring into us and letting us pour into them this year at the Power We Symposium, April 28th. So I wanted to share that a lot of you out there are headed to Chicago for the event. And for those of you who can't make it, we will be offering a pay-per-view ticket that'll only be $10. And that too is split with the schools that bring, the kids to the program for all sorts of things. So we want to show you a little bit of the Soul Children. You're in for a treat, Mark. Seriously. These kids won a Grammy with their collaboration with Three Doors Down a couple years ago. And this is just a little bit. I want to give you a taste. I'm trying to get you there in spirit, if not in person. Here we go.
You remember, in 1987, we were doing our first recording session live. And it went a little bit like this. Come on. Here now.
Watch this.
The Lord is my life and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is my life and my salvation. Whom shall I fear?
Okay, so there's a little taste. Why did I bring them in today? I brought them in today because as I get closer and closer to this date, you guys, I have a lot of conversations with these kids, especially the seniors. A lot of them leave and go off to school, and we stay in contact and whatnot. But these kids, I'm gonna tell you something. I wake up every day and I go to sleep every night. When we recorded our first sponsorship video with the original 8 kids, and who are now entering their senior years, all 8 of them still doing well at some Ivy League school here in the country, all on full academic scholarships. And I remember when we presented the video to them that day, we had polled them independently, anonymously, and asked them to share their greatest joy in this moment. What are they feeling? And they said, oh, can't wait to go shopping with my granny at Target for my room. I can't wait to find out who my roommate's going to be, things like that. But it was then when we said, okay, now do it again anonymously. And what is your greatest fear today moving forward? And every single one of them in one way or another said that because of the amount of time I'll have to spend in my neighborhood, because in summer we don't go to school, that something will happen, as it inevitably does every year to someone in my neighborhood, that I will lose my life of no fault of my own and never see my dreams come true. And I just can't accept that. I just can't. So I just want you guys to just, the power of we is a modern day stone soup story. Remember that when we were kids? Whatever you have, it can be a prayer, it can be a handwritten note. We had 300 letters at this Power of We from a women's knitting club in Nashua, New Hampshire. All of the women were in their 70s, and they wrote hand letters of encouragement to these kids. And a lot of them still have them on their mirrors at school and whatnot. So you never know what difference you can make. So I had to get that in there. Somebody needed to hear that. So back to you. So Mark, you build websites for people too. I saw a lot of testimonials.
Yeah. That was back in the day when websites were still somewhat new. Now everybody's got one. Yeah. No, I actually, that was the artistic side of me, which was always a lot of fun. I probably lean a little more on the artistic side than I do the analytical side, just growing up or whatever. But yeah, more creative. And so that was a great outlet. And in fact, every once in a blue moon, somebody will come to me and need some help. I've got some friends who have said, hey, can you lend me a hand and help me, maybe build a website, or can you do it? Yeah, sure. Love to do it. I like to still kind of dabble in it a little bit. I'm not near as active as I used to be, but anytime I can help, I particularly have is obviously a fondness for people who are maybe starting companies or something like that, where if they call me and, hey, is this something you're interested in? And if the timing's right, yeah, absolutely. Let me lend you a hand and see what we can do to make something that's going to, maybe help your company get off the ground.
Yeah.
Because a lot of small business owners, man, they need a lot of help. So.
Oh, don't we though? You're sitting to the fire. So let me ask you, do you choose who picks all these new things to come in? Like when you want to add some new things to the line on the website for people to buy.
On shopping company?
Yeah.
So
that sounds fun.
Yeah. So the first 3 years maybe of this entire company's life, before there was even a website or we even had a single customer, was nothing but me calling any company that would talk to me and saying, look, I've got this idea. I'd like to have your products. There's some certain rules that maybe you want me to live by, and there's some certain things that I want out of all this. And oh, by the way, it may be 5 years before I sell a single thing, but would you please work with me?
Wow.
And a lot of them said, yeah, thanks, no. But a fair number said, look, we'll see where this takes us. It doesn't cost us anything. I mean, we're what's called a drop shipper. So essentially we buy it from the manufacturer. The customer buys it from us. We buy it from the manufacturer. They send it directly to the end user and done. There's no, there was no real loss for them. And this has been drop shipping was still relatively new. Now it's incredibly common. So we get a lot of customers who even say, God, I wish you guys had, I don't know, I'm trying to think of one recently, maybe, coasters, stone coasters or something like that.
Yeah.
We go, fine, let's go find a manufacturer who makes stone coasters. And we try as best we can to, not necessarily just have, and this is no disrespect, but not just a bunch of Chinese products that come across the pond, come across the ocean. We're trying to find companies here in America or even Europe or maybe even South America who are good, high quality products that are a little easier to get across and to our customers, our end users, because we've now all learned there are some costs to be paid for lower cost Chinese products. So
got that right. Let me ask you about this. Do you offhand know what the top two hot closing gifts last year? What was hot?
Oh, I should know this, and yet I have no idea.
Up. Stump the CEO. Did it again.
I'm going to feel really stupid when this comes out.
Well, you'll have to get back to me on that. I wanted to, inside of the Maya, and back to the Maya Angelou piece, I want to ask you what you think she meant when she said, don't waste your life on years of useless virtue.
Well, yeah, that whole piece had a lot of meaning for me. So
I could see it as you were watching it.
Yeah. Particularly in our youth, and I'm going to kind of wax poetically here for just a moment. Particularly in our youth, we always want to look good, and we all want to have the fancy everything. And when you get to be my age, you go, I don't really care anymore. I mean, whether I had everything I wanted or not, and nobody ever truly does, but let's assume I did, it still wouldn't make any difference. I mean, again, this goes back to I get more of a thrill or more of a kick knowing that one of my employees is doing better. Maybe they were able to get something for their wife or their husband or their kids or whatever, dog, whatever. That they've made some progress in life that I maybe helped. Okay. Her other comment that caught me was what I thought was really interesting was I've long had this thought that I'm not a particularly religious person. I mean, it's fine, but hell to me, what we would all call hell, is something to the effect of you pass away and nobody ever talks about you again in any real meaningful way. Heaven would be something to the effect of I pass away tomorrow and my grandkids go, wow, I miss Grandpa Mark. I miss, I wish he was with me. I say this about my own grandfather all the time. I'll go, I wonder what my grandfather would have said. I wish he was here to help guide me a little bit, and so I sort of take those. That was a huge moment because, everything else is sort of, what do you have in life beyond your own legacy? And it's kind of a big deal, to put your best out there and have people respond. That is heaven. That is, you live forever, if you will. That's huge.
Yeah. Our stories. Exactly. I remember my birth mother, whom I met at 32, excuse me, she said, not long after I met her, maybe within that first year, and she was like, yeah, what my mom told me when she was on her deathbed? And I was like, what? She said, Lucille, and she goes, now I'm telling you, Lauren, you can tell you've lived a great life because when you were born, you were the one crying and everyone around you was smiling. If you've lived a good life, when you die, you'll be the one smiling. And everyone around you will be the ones who are crying. And I was like,
That's well spoken. Yeah, that's well spoken.
It's true.
Yeah.
And so tell me, what is it? And then I want to ask you a COVID related question. But what is it? I don't want to forget. What is it in your world of work and everything today that you would say brings you the greatest joy? That thing that you wouldn't give it away for $1 million, or maybe you would.
Well, who knows? I think I'm gonna be a little bit repetitive. I just think watching the people around me grow. I mean, I just truly think that I can't imagine a world where I am not a net benefit to the people around me specifically. My little world or whatever. Because in the end, if I'm some positive influence in their world, they're going to be hopefully some positive influence in the next, and it just expands from there. And we all talk about the need in this world to make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's all well and good to say I'm going to make a difference on a grand global scale, but the realities are the grand differences tend to be very small, and then they expand from there. Those small differences are where it all adds up. And I think that's the critical thing. But my passion in life is driving cars really fast and snorkeling and things of it. Yeah.
My father-in-law too. He has a game down in their house. I go down there and I crash and roll over all the time, but it's fun. It's hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I like it because it makes me focus on a number of things at once in a way that you have to really trust your instincts and things when you're doing that, because if you second guess or I'll never get in a real one though. I'll say that.
Yeah, I used I've had the pleasure of driving real race cars, and I used to tell my son all the time, racing is an interesting dichotomy because most people think you simply press on the gas pedal and you go as fast as you possibly can. And I used to teach him when he was a boy. I was like, racing is, if you can brake in the right places, if you can turn in the right places, if you can do all these series of things you have to do to get from one edge of the track to the other, speed is a byproduct of that. And you will inevitably go faster. And that includes, for example, if you're in a real race team where you've got a pit crew, for example, if they do everything right. That's an important distinction. And it's not just press the gas and go fast. There's a lot of little subtle nuances that all add up very quickly.
You get that adrenaline payoff.
Yes, absolutely.
So COVID, let's go to COVID if we could. What was that like for you sitting in this chair of, the head of the company?
Yeah.
How was that first for you and your family? But then you have all these other families, and a reason I remember when I was in the 80s, when I started, I had a thing called Apology Accepted, and Lou Gurnick saw me in the paper and invited me to lunch. He was the founder of Midas Mufflers. And he said to me, I said, so what do you do? Because, it was new then, the Midas Muffler thing. And he goes, I feed families.
Yeah.
And that's what he put out there. I was like, and he gave me some wisdom way back then about how you look at your business and the people that help make you successful in business.
Yeah.
And so talk about that. What was that like? Was it hard? How'd you navigate?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with the company because that's probably a little easier. It wasn't as hard as maybe a lot of companies because we're already a digital company. For most of my team, this is their world. I mean, they love it. For me, it was a lot tougher because, again, I'm a people person. And, for some of my people, it was like, ugh, we're locked in our houses. And there was probably a lot more drinking there should have been. But, it's Florida. We start at 10 a.m. anyway. So. But for most, particularly my younger, employees, they probably dealt with it much, much better than my wife and I. Now, on a personal level, my wife is a school teacher. She teaches elementary music to low income.
Yay for the teachers! And yay for the teachers of the arts.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously.
No
the kids tell me everything.
Oh yeah. So for her, it was really tough. I mean, to try and teach music via Zoom or, whatever they were using at the time, that was a nightmare. The kids lost so much, and, she deals with underprivileged kids anyway. And so, their lives are already chaotic, and that would be the best sense of the word. But then to add this was just a nightmare. So, and to be perfectly honest, I love my wife, but boy, having her home 24/7 for almost a year, it was like, whoa, 2 months is all I
don't know what you're talking about. I love every minute of it. No, because I in our house because telehealth went into law. Yeah. So my husband can see his face. It's right on the screen upstairs now.
Nice. Yeah, no, I tease her. We make the jokes, but we did really, really well. Again, we probably drank too much because there was nothing better to do. But I think it probably, of everybody that I know, as strange as this may seem, it probably affected me the most, just because I didn't get to really see anybody. I'm so used to being traveling and going to cities and working with customers and getting that opportunity to sit with them face to face for what was it, 2 years? It feels like forever, but to virtually have no relationship contact, physical relationship contact for that long was probably toughest on me more than anybody.
And your spirit is so animated, and not overly, Just right.
Yeah.
You really have that. You make people feel comfortable and at ease fairly quickly, I would think.
Well, good.
And so
Thank you.
mask, because the mask took a lot for me. I was messed up over that for a minute. I couldn't. I missed people's smiles. I missed smiling at people, and it was just it was hard on me at first.
Yeah.
I'm just keeping
real.
But
yeah, I hated the mask. In fact, I almost stopped wearing it. I was probably, I swear, one of the first people in Florida to stop wearing it because I just couldn't stand it. And I wasn't doing it as some grand, political narrative. It was just, I hated it. And so, if somebody said, if the store had a sign that said you have to wear a mask, I put the mask on. If somebody said, would you please put your mask on, I put it on. But other than that, not a chance, man. I am not going to wear that damn thing. So
here's the question that I'm good. We got 3 minutes up, so I'm glad I remembered this one. The supply chain issue and stuff with the war. Are you feeling any of that in your business? Delivery?
Not as bad. Ironically, what we're seeing is the other way. We've got some European customers, and what we're seeing is getting stuff to them, even though that's only in Ukraine, and you wouldn't think it would affect Europe at large. And to a certain degree, it's not overly hitting them as far as there's no bombs falling. But I have seen some interesting comments from some of our customers going, "Hey, we're having to shuffle this around or do this or do that." But no, coming from Ukraine, I think it's mostly grains and that. We don't think we have a lot of Ukrainian products anyway. So we haven't had too much of an issue with that.
I thought maybe with gas prices and stuff,
Well, everything's gone up. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the entire world seems like it's just everything's twice as expensive. But
you're getting your stuff and deliveries are making it to people. And
yeah, I'd say right now you could add 3 days or something like that. In most cases, you'd probably, that would be average. Some products we're struggling a little bit, but by and large, no, we've been okay. Knock on wood there on that one. So,
and your wife in the school, you got as soon as you mentioned that, I forgot she does that. So what's it like? What's the Sarasota urban situation like? Are there a lot of do they have like a ghetto side of town or a underprivileged or inner city feel somewhere there?
Oh yeah, Florida at large is Florida's a really weird state in so what you have is either the stupidly wealthy, which we all strive to be there, or quite a poor class of people, and then I would say a moderately sized middle class, but in my opinion, it could be bigger. Historically, middle class has always been sort of the largest group by a fair margin, and the two extremes are real minor. But right now, there's almost like there's this division of 3 where it's all equal, and it shouldn't be. We shouldn't have this many poor people and this many overly wealthy people. Again, to put it in perspective, Sarasota has 3 billionaires that live here full time. And every 7th person is a millionaire. Now, put that into context. I mean, we're only a town of 70,000 people.
Wow.
So you got to really understand that the real separation between the various classes.
Why do you think your wife goes to work in that community? Why does she service? Why does that? Well, because that's a calling. I know because I work with a lot of teachers and kids, and that's a calling. And she's Caucasian. Too, you know what I'm saying? Does she ever share with you? What do you know about her that you could share?
No,
why she does that?
Truly believes that music is the window to the soul, and that if these kids are going to get pulled out of not only music, but in conjunction with a lot of other factors, music can literally pull these kids out of some of the worst circumstances, assuming they can embrace it and so on and so forth. But yeah, she just is passionate about the music, what it can do for not just kids, but for everybody, and then utilizing it in a way to help these kids out. That's her joy in life. And she's always wanted to start a nonprofit,
I want to connect her with the Donovan. The Donovan is from the show Hulu. He plays on there. Queens, the show Hulu. Hulu's network. The show is Queens with Eve and Brandy, and he just got signed on to do the music for Brandy's new movie. But the reason I'm bringing him up, I just talked to him last night. He gives away free piano lessons to
that would be wonderful.
Kids of color and older people, elderly. So I'll hook your wife up with him in case there's some kids who want, all the books, the piano books, and everything. And I think it'd be a great connection.
Yeah, she'd love it.
Yeah, I'm just so glad that we met and that we are now friends. And that's how we all got here, right? You guys, listen, get up every day. Fulfill your God-given purpose in this world. All you have to do is get up and look for one thing today to bring to the world that they've never seen. And here's the catch. In order to do that, you must be willing to get up every day and do something you've never done. Take that with you. I'm Lauren Michaels Harris. What a blessing. Oh, as always. On the screen down at the bottom, you'll see silentmarketingsolution.com. Here it is for those of you who need glasses but refuse to admit it, like me, in bigger print right there up top. Get over and just get to know this guy. And you can also find him by his name, Mark Lucas, on LinkedIn. That's where we met. And so listen, Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For stopping what you were doing and coming and pouring into all of us here. And we really appreciate you. You're welcome back anytime. Sit in the green room for just 30 seconds after the show for a second. There's something I want to share with you. And tomorrow there's something more I want to share with you. James Cooley from the James Cooley Show in Washington, D.C. His show goes out to over 170 stations, 170 countries. So multiple stations all over the world. I was just on his show last Wednesday, and tomorrow he's here. So meet me out front, God willing, at 8 a.m. Central, and we'll do this all over again. We'll come together, fulfill the promise, and have yet another illuminated conversation where, you guessed it, right here on Bathrobe Moments. Be blessed, Mark. I'm just so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you for coming. And I'm looking I'll give away something free tomorrow. Come on back. You see what it is. Have a great day. Be the blessing you want to see in the world. Be that change you'd like to make, but can't. Just be it. Just do it. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, y'all. Bye, Mark.
Bye.
Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine.